So first of all, I know that everybody is here for substance-related issues, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of you have either been diagnosed yourself, think you have ADHD, or have a child or relative with ADHD? Okay. So there's a few of you here. Don't be surprised if when you leave you feel like you've caught ADHD here. You can't catch it from a talk. And what I want to be sure that you know is that ADHD is normal behavior, but it's on a continuum, and it can be very extreme. So it's like everybody will forget something now and again. You know, you'll forget where your keys are, things like that. But it's, do you forget to pick your kids up from school when you're clean and sober, you know, day after day? Do you miss your freeway exit by 2 or 3 because you're thinking about something else? So again, it's extreme. It's normal behavior that's much more extreme. So let's talk a little bit about this here. Number one is that you don't have a deficit of attention when you have ADHD. People with ADHD have lots of attention. The problem is being able to focus that attention where you want to focus it. And that is that sometimes you may be sitting here right now thinking, I really want to listen to what she's saying, but you're thinking about what you're going to have for dinner or what you're going to do tonight when you leave or whatever. Or, and that's distractibility, or your attention can get captured. You know, you can get into something that you're really interested in. For some people, it's like the internet, different things like that. They get on the internet, and their attention is captured, or they're gambling, and their attention is captured, and they can't pull out of that kind of attention. So it's not that people have a deficit of attention. They have plenty of attention. They just can't always focus it where they want to be focusing it and sustain it, keep that attention going for a period of time. The other thing is that you don't have to be hyperactive to have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. You do not have to be hyperactive. And what has happened is that over the years, what we've found is that women and girls and some men have ADHD, and they have primarily what we call inattentive type, which means that they have problems with their attention, but they don't have problems controlling their impulses, and they don't have problems with their activity level. And if you have ADHD primarily inattentive type, it can actually take you a long time to get up in the morning. You may have a lower than average attention, activity level. Maybe hard for you to make decisions, to get yourself going. So we're going to shatter some of the myths, which are, number one, that you have to be hyperactive to have ADHD, because you don't. Number two, that ADHD is a product of poor parenting, because it's not. Number three, that you grow out of ADHD during adolescence, which we find most people don't. If you have it as a kid, you have it as an adult. What happens is that people will tend to self-medicate it. They'll get diagnosed with bipolar, depression, different things, and the ADHD was not being treated or taken care of. And the other myth is that it's primarily a disorder of boys and men. And again, if you take the inattentive type in, we find out that women have ADHD almost as much as men or boys do. So those are some of the myths about it. Some of the truths about it are that ADHD is a difference in brain functioning. And it has to do with neurotransmitters. And these neurotransmitters are these little messengers that tell one part of the brain what to do. And there's two big neurotransmitters that they're looking at now. One is dopamine. Have you heard of dopamine? And one is norepinephrine. Now, dopamine gives us a sense of well-being, helps us to focus, helps us to concentrate. And interestingly enough, all addictive substances, from nicotine, caffeine, to alcohol, to heroin, increase dopamine. So it's a neurological difference in how your brain works, and it tends to run in families. There's been a lot of studies of genetics, and they have found actual genetic links where ADHD will run in a family. So if you have it yourself or your children, a lot of times adults get diagnosed because their children get diagnosed, and then the adults looking at that going, wow, I do the same things, and so then the adult will get diagnosed as well.